Hey, Shalom, I want to start off source by giving all praise to Yahweh Hashem, Yahshua, Hashem, Kakodash. Double honors to the apostles of GMS and honors to you brothers doing the work in truth while sincerity. It's another quick video. I believe I've actually done one on a similar topic before, but can't find it in my list. But you never make the same cake twice, do you? So this is Delusion of Grandeur. I don't even know if that's a real saying. I made it up, Jacob's form of things. Just, having a bubble. Well, it says Delusion of Grandeur is the fixed, false belief that one possesses superior qualities such as genius, fame, omnipotence, or wealth. Right, and there are two, a lot of people in this world right now have a delusion of grandeur, right? And well, in fact, I can get that real quick. I told you, I'm sure I'll never hit this point before. This is, like I said, never made the same cake twice. It's Job 12, deceiver. Yeah, it says Job 12:16. It says, with him is strength and wisdom. The deceived and the deceiver are his. Right, so if you're deluded, right, then you ain't all the way there. Right, you've been. In fact, let's look up those words. Right, deceiver. Well, in fact, delusory. That's one of the words that comes up when I look at that word, deceiver. Right, false, deceitful. Right, from deluser, a deceiver. Right, from stem deludere, to play false, mock, deceive. Right, so basically, a delusion of grandeur is when you have a false belief, right, that you're grand. Right, let's look up that word, grandeur. Right, loftiness, right, height, right, size, height, extent, magnitude, greatness, right. So you have a false belief. You've been deceived to believe, right, that you are better than you really are. Right now, the biggest case of delusion of grandeur is Esau, right, who in today's world would be the so-called white man, right, or these Edomites. Right, as they're called as a family, they have the biggest case of the delusion of grandeur, right? This is Romans 12:3, right? This is talking to Israelites, right? It says, because I said this can be tackled from two directions. This can be tackled from, Esau, and it can be tackled from, wicked niggas, and it can be, tackled to brothers in the truth, right? This is Romans 12:3. It says, for I say, through the grace given unto me, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think. Right? And that's the key point. Everyone has, as it goes on to say, everyone has their gift. Right? And stay in your lane. Whatever gift you've been given, whatever talent the Lord has given you, make sure you use that talent and you improve. Right, and you do this work using the talents that you've been given, right? But don't start trying to lust after other people's other people's talents. Right? Don't start trying to make yourself better than you really are. Much required. This is Luke 12:48. But he that knew not and did commit things worthy of stripes, right, shall be beaten with few stripes. For unto whomsoever much is given, of him shall be much required. Right, and to him whom men have committed much, of him will they ask more. Right, so if what you call it, if you've been given much, then your output must be matched the same. Right, much is going to be required of you. So, and one of the things that, in fact, let me get this, increase in knowledge, increaseth in, sorry, that's it. Yeah, it says Ecclesiastes in the Bible, for in much, 1:18, for in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow, right? So you go through more thing, right? so you grow more in His faith, you get deeper in the faith, right? The unhappier you're going to be, right? Because you're going to be going through more sorrows, you're going to be tried more, but because you'll be humbled more, the greater, the greater gifts that you're given, right? Much more is going to be required of you, right? When for instance, the Apostle Tahar gave you all the 3 videos, a week minimum for all the brothers in GMS. Right? If you've been in a camp for more than 6 months, right? Because when you first come in, right, there's an understanding that you're still a babe, right? But then as you grow and you spend more time, then that's when more is required of you, right? You're expected to know more. You're expected to be on a certain level, right? So I carry on. Back in Romans 12:3, for I say, through the grace given unto me, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly, according as the Most High hath dealt to every man the measure of faith. Right? Because the Lord is the one who chooses what position you're in, right? And whatever role that you have, you cannot assume the role of King David. Someone's already sitting on that role, right? Someone's already got that position. Right? So you just got to be you and be happy. Right? It says, for as we have many members in one body, and all members have not the same office, so we, being many, are one body in Yahushua, and everyone members one of another. Right? Having then gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us, whether prophecy, let us prophesy according to the proportion of faith, or ministry, let us wait on our ministering, or he that teacheth on teaching, or he that exhorteth on exhortation, he that giveth, let him do with simplicity, he that ruleth with diligence, and he that showeth mercy with cheerfulness, right? So basically, whatever gift you've been given, work on that. Right, because as I think it's basically there's another scripture which roughly says the same thing in Corinthians, but that one goes on to say, if you have an eye, you have ears, right? But if the whole body was an eye, then how do you hear? The whole body was an ear, how do you see? Right? So if everyone is King David, then who were the apostles, right? Who was this individual? Who was that prophet? Right? Who was that help? Right? Who was the ones that funded, and that basically gave money to the prophets so that they could do what they had to do? Who took care of the prophets if everyone, was King David, or if everyone was Paul, or if, whatever, what have you? Right? Everyone, we just gotta do what we gotta do, right? And be happy just for the simple fact that we've been chosen, and not to try get up on a level that is not for you, right? It says 1 Corinthians 1:12, right? It says the apostles bringing out the camp yesterday, right? It says, now this I say, that every one of you saith, I am of Paul, and I am of Apollos, and I of Cephas, and I of Yahushua. Right? It says, is Yahushua divided? And then Paul basically then goes on to say, was Paul crucified for you? Or were you baptized in the name of Paul? Right? And basically what he's saying is, look, man, don't, you're putting me higher than I am. I wasn't crucified for you. That was Yahushua. Right? Because at the end of the day, this thing is of Yahushua. This thing is of Yahweh. Right? This isn't so I just saw something on my screen. It says Wall Street Journal, White House requested plans last year from Pentagon to attack Iran. So yeah, that's probably another video coming up. But yeah, so that just kind of distracted me real quick. So like, all right, so basically, Paul, everything is about being humble and knowing your lane, and knowing what it is that we're required to do, right? Not, and just being happy we've been chosen, right? This is 1 Corinthians 9:27. So, but I keep under my body and bring it into subjection, lest that by any means, when I've preached to others, I myself should be a castaway, right? And that ultimately is the biggest thing from all this, because you could be going around, oh yeah, I'm this great so and so, and the Lord casts you out. The Lord just sweeps you to the side, and then you just fade into obscurity, as they say. Right, you fade into something that people are, oh yeah, I remember that guy, you know. But this is Paul basically saying, look, man, I'm gonna stay humble, lest, I've done all this work and then the Lord spews me out, right? Scripture says, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, right? We could all be doing this thing, and we got to pray that we're not castaways, and that thought keeps you humble, right? Now, this whole topic really was inspired uh, uh, from work events and whatever, like in the workplace, where you get certain guys, where they're proud of what it is that they do. They like to boast, oh yeah, I'm an investment banker, I'm this, I'm that. Right, but all of those things, they're gonna be taken away, right? And then they thought that they were this great grand person, and they're gonna be brought low. And we don't, with the things that we see in the world, we don't want to move in that same way in this truth, right? Because, like it says here, you could, you've had heads of camps fall out, you've had heads of camps kicked out, right? So you could be boasting, oh yeah, I'm a head of so and so camp, and the Lord spews you out, which is what this scripture is going into. Right now, I'll briefly touch on the other aspect of delusion of grandeur. In fact, I'll leave that for another topic, because I'll call this delusion of grandeur Israelite edition, right? And then I'll do the delusion of grandeur Edomite edition, right? So yeah, like I said, Lord's will, that was edifying. Until the next time, Shalom.